Alright guys, we are back down at the dyno. Welcome to another video. But Max is in town, landed in this morning. And then obviously we did introduce Grant at the very end of the last video if you watched it to the end. But obviously Grant's here now. Russ and Mitch. It's all been going okay, Mitch. A few little things
pretty well
we may possibly need to change.
Yeah, we'll just see how it goes once we change the oil, as far as any oil pressure drop with the cooler being so far away.
Yeah.
With the standard oil pump. So jury's still out on that, but we'll just keep crossing bridges as they keep popping up.
Yeah.
Well, we've sort of got to build them then cross them.
Build them then cross them, right? Yeah.
We're not there yet.
We're just fixing up the dipstick because we had an issue with the dipstick. Yeah, we're about to jack it up, change the oil over, and then get into power pulls. I guess it's just you've been doing the running in, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just loading it up and
yeah, just loading up 4.5, 5 grand sort of thing.
Yeah.
Pulling it into boost. It's all
pull the oil out, see if it's the filter's happy and that. You got the cutter, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll cut the filter open, make sure it's all happy and okay, and hopefully get onto some power runs and everything will be okay. Hopefully. What are we doing, scientist? You're doing scientific things.
Yeah.
That looks like metal in there.
Yeah, there's a bit in there. I don't think it liked filling the lines up with oil and cranking for an hour.
Oh.
But
hold on, don't make him scared. You said you're not concerned about
Oh, it's not like a dry sump engine or something where you make oil pressure before you ever even crank the engine. Always looks better.
Yeah.
But it's been dry in there and turning at some point. So, not perfect, but we'll cut another one open after we tune it and see.
Yeah. Here you go. I'm not in the mood to vlog. You tell people.
Hi, everybody.
Or you want to tell people?
Oh, okay.
I can tell him, Max can tell him, whatever.
No, I don't want to tell him now. You didn't let me tell him.
Okay, so basically what's happening is we have the car in the dyno. We had braking oil in the engine. Pulled the oil, cut the filter, notice a little bit of metal, but
that was a lot. That was a lot.
What weren't they
trying
running?
to be optimistic.
That was a lot.
It wasn't VR1.
So
let's just be clear.
No, this is like real expensive oil that costs more than bearings.
So we changed the oil. We put a new filter in, right?
New filter, move the whole oil system.
Move the oil system up front.
Oh no, we hadn't moved the oil system.
No, we hadn't run it yet. Yeah. No, we hadn't run it yet. Still, we're noticing a little bit of decrease in pressure. We kind of believe the reason for that was since we had moved the cooler to the back, we just think the line wasn't big enough to keep
flow
the pressure.
Enough. Yeah,
enough flow. So, whatever. While that was done, we pulled the filter again, cut the filter, and noticed more metal. We had gone to get
definitely
KFC.
not as much that time.
Not as much, yeah, not as much at all. We had gone to KFC. We came back. While we were gone, Mitch and
we went to
his
get a
father-
fitting. We went to get a
and
fitting.
Well, no, the KFC was actually really
The only reason I went in the car was to get KFC.
Exactly.
We came back. I don't know how this had happened when we were gone, but Mitch and his father, and I think Frosty had decided to check the thrust on the crank.
The minute we left, everything went off the rails.
Yeah.
We walked out of the place and all of a sudden the motor's blown up. Everything's destroyed. What happened while we were gone?
Mitch's dad had the idea because it's copper metal that you guys.
Where the hell is
Yeah.
Mitch's dad? We gotta find that out.
Copper coating that's on a thrust washer, so
Yeah.
it's going straight through the copper like it's like.
So
like
he
a
was
thrust
what he was
bar.
explaining, which I don't know much about bottom ends of engines, but what he was explaining is the like rod bearings, main bearings, they're coated copper. Thrust bearings are straight copper, right? Is that true?
They're still coated.
They're still
extent, yeah.
okay, but they're not as, from what he was saying, they're not as coated as like a rod bearing. So it's going to show copper a lot sooner. Moral of the story: what we're bringing it over to the other shop. We're putting it on the hoist. We're pulling the pan off. We're going to check the thrust washers.
Check the thrust.
Like in all honesty, that's why race cars, when they pull their braking oil and then they send it out and they lab test it because it tells you which bearing. They'll actually tell you which bearing is wearing faster.
Well,
or
we'll be able to
slower.
tell too when we take the oil pan off. So.
Well, I mean, I think at this point, yeah, we're gonna be able to see pretty clearly what's wrong.
Yeah.
But no, but definitely when you do like a break-in on like a big race engine, you pull that first oil, you send that out to a lab. They'll tell you which bearing it is just by like what you were saying, was by how much of the plating is wearing on each bearing, because you can see which one is different because the metal, like the metallurgy or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I get what you mean, the difference in the metals or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm finding it hard to film just because I freaking want to cry. I'm just so over cars blowing up and things going wrong, and like for all intensive purposes the car's blown up again, like at this point, like throwing bearings in it, that's kind of blown.
We could keep running it because this could be what, like the low pressure, like the low pressure I was saying, could be this as well.
I can't hear you.
So, but this is preventative, so we'd rather pull the pan off now to check it rather than keep running it. Like we know it's got run out on the crank, like, so there's no point just trying to send it and keep trying to tune it, and then
if you can see the crank moving back and forth, I think so. Like,
I don't think so. I think you could still, if something's causing it, right? But if we catch it before the thing kicks the rod through the side of the block, yeah, like exactly what Frosty was saying. If you can catch it before the rod kicks itself through the side of the block, I don't think it's blown up. It definitely is an issue, but
it's to the point we have to take it apart and.
Yeah, that's blown up.
Yeah, but at least it didn't take it. But
I don't know what you guys are trying to say here. That's blown up.
At least it didn't take itself.
The crank. That's blown up.
At least the crank and the rods and the pistons are still in the engine.
Well, if what you're saying is that,
but there shouldn't be any damage to the crank itself.
Everybody here is smart enough to realize when a motor is about to let loose, then yeah, you're right. Like,
well,
we have a lot of smart
we're
people.
Being responsible and we're pulling it apart before it lets loose.
Exactly.
And then hopefully we'll fix it so we can go so we can go chop people at power.
Send a rod out the side of them.
Oh, I've done it.
Well, I mean,
and this thing will do it too. That'll
that's
throw
a little baby boy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Here we go.
Us in America, you know what I mean? That's
yeah. So
we use that to put bubbles in our soda.
There's some other things like this. This oil, whatever it is, it's literally a 90-degree. Like real sharp corner there. It's not a great design, and then the way the fitting went in, it was actually a really small amount. I think that was part of the whole oil restriction thing, and obviously having it in the back of the car as well, it put more strain on everything, I guess. I felt like it was a good idea putting it in the back, but probably not. I'm super thankful to have so many freaking amazing friends. It's just feeling not just like physically defeated, it's just like this car you just literally just keep throwing money at it and it just keeps gobbling it up and laughing at you and still not working. That's the problem.
And hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
2 weeks straight of work on this thing for me. Like.
Frosty's put so much time into this car. It's just, you just keep throwing stuff at it, you know what I mean? And I don't, you know, I'm sure a lot of us car guys have been through it all. Like, it's just fucking frustrating, really fucking frustrating. On the positive side, it looks good. It looks good, it looks cool. And I have located, so obviously got those other work wheels. I found someone to swap me a pair of the bigger ones for a pair that'll fit the front of the car. So got front wheels sorted for the car, because obviously these are Mitch's now. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. We're going to take it to Mitch's other shop now. We're going to get it up on the lift, rip the sump off quickly, see what's fucked basically, and then we'll know more about whatever the hell we're doing from that point on. That's it. Get to the other shop.
You hear Max?
What? What?
We're getting there. It's a big job.
You know what, guys? You need to have the right tools. You gotta have the right tools. You know what I mean? And when you're building a motor, you have to have the right tools, and then you can get everything done the way it needs to be done. You know? You know?
Fucking hell.
What?
So this is what you're trying to cut?
It's hardwood.
Hardwood with a...
I thought I had one of them diamond blades in there, but it's got a normal one. We're gonna put it between some shit and snap it. I seen it, I'm like, that's a great idea. Wow, quite strong.
Yeah, you didn't hit it enough. Next time,
It had really high lux there.
There we are.
If you're gonna do it, do it properly.
Yeah, can you just hit it with your purse next time? Oh my god, dude, come on.
This is good wood. Hey!
Put your hand in there.
That's what I like to see. Wow!
Right, you got safety boots are good there.
Well, we don't have wood like that in US.
How many Australians does it take to break a piece of wood in half?
3.
He's like, no, I gotta chop
Do
something.
you want rags on there before we sit that there?
Make sure you put
That'd
it
be
on
good,
the aluminum.
I reckon. So what are we doing?
This is Max's plane, not mine.
Yeah, they sell these things called engines.
Oh, he's coming back.
For like 150 bucks.
Wait, we've got some chromoly.
Some chromoly tubing. Sorry. Some chromoly tubing. Oh, you're just getting a chair. I was like, what is he grabbing?
Watch the
I
show.
thought he was helping.
Somebody needs to get a ratchet strap. That's right.
There's one.
I've done this literally hundreds of times, so like I don't know why you guys are freaking out about this.
No.
And by hundreds of times,
He's
I mean
just curious.
2
Three.
or 3.
Three?
Yeah.
That's heaps.
That's like good too.
We're just-
should be strong enough.
Gonna rewind it.
I don't know. I don't know what that.
In US have
There we go.
dumb like that? Like this?
Oh.
I have never.
There would be dumb shit, but they wouldn't drift it, I guess.
No, there'd be dumb shit, but it wouldn't have.
Well, that's a lot of bearing.
Wait, is the dipstick in there?
Mitch.
Mitch. Tag you're it.
There's some things in there you should look at.
I'm drunk.
Oh, then
Something's fucked there.
I know, I've seen
Lots
it.
of things.
Yes, the thrust. We know.
you thrust very open.
That's why the sumps off. Is this thing on? There he's going. We yeah, it's recording. Hasn't gone well.
What's this, day 5 of this car?
Yeah. Yeah, this is an ongoing saga. So we noticed material. This joint's a mess, there's been a bit going on. Should look at where I point this thing. We noticed material in the filter and we were a bit worried. Then we just decided not to worry about it, but then we worried about it again. Then we realised that the engine had a heap of thrust. Like a lot. Because it had done this. This side has never ever touched. Like brand new still. This side, far from it. So in an auto, that can happen if your converter pumps up and things like that. But this hadn't happened. And it had a new spigot, so we're a little bit suspect, but that. It's perfect. It's perfect. So, this was originally a dual mass car. The screen's gone out, but I think it's still recording. So it's got that bit where there's no spline. And this is not a dual mass replacement clutch. I don't think. So what's happened is, this is a good clutch plate, which is flat. This is a not so good clutch plate, which is not flat. So because the input shaft didn't have a heap of spline, where this clutch is used to having it, as it's gone in, it's managed to butt on these splines in here and push this plate forwards, which has then put pressure forwards on the crank, which has then melted the things inside. So it's, what day is it?
Thursday.
So it's Thursday, so we're just going to build another quick engine for this, just
Another forge. Yeah.
just another quick forged engine. It wasn't the engine's fault, it's been rudely pushed from behind. So yeah, we'll just chuck one of them together again and just another dyno session, just bedding the dyno in. And it'll be at Power Cruise maybe late Friday at this rate. We've got another clutch here too, we're gonna just do some measuring and stuff and get to the bottom of this whole situation. Because if it is what we're thinking, it's only luck that's made it line up before maybe. Not sure, not sure. I just build the engine. So that section was good. Was good. So it got pushed. They're good, but they're not good enough to deal with that. It's alright. We'll help our friends out and we'll move forwards. It's gonna be all good. All good and gravy.
So like that's disc, like the outer disc, then it goes to the gap, and then the second disc starts about here. So that's all like the inner disc that's bent was engaging on is that shiny little bit there.
So if it, as you wiggle the engine in and have a bit of a hard time and all that, that's all it has to be wrong by for, yeah, like 2 or 3 mil. Which that 2 or 3 mil seems like nothing when you're winding the belly housing bolts in and stuff.
That's like, yeah, that's the last bit of the dowels.
It's the last bit of the dowels. It's on the dowels. You think it's sweet because usually you would be plenty engaged on the spline by then because nothing ever sits half on a spline. I was going to say something smart and I forgot what. So yeah, that's how that could have happened. And then also what makes the situation worse is this piece of shit junk. I hate them and don't think they should exist. This dumb spacer system for a left-hand starter. Just move the engine so it fits. I hate these. So what that does is space everything out further and compound the problem of the input shaft possibly being an interference fit, which sort of makes it better in a way. But if that wasn't there and it didn't go perfectly into the second spline in the clutch plate, then you'd have a gap this big. But because that's there and making all the spacing wrong, you end up with next to no gap. And by the time you've got this double adapter shit and all this junk going on, and it's jammed down inside there, and everyone's at the dyno waiting for you while you've got to bang the gearbox in or the engine in, it gives chance the possibility. And the bell housing's also cracked, if anyone wants to talk about that. I've got this thing on a stand. My enthusiasmometer is running about a level 3 out of 10. It's not ideal. That's right. We'll buzz some rockers off this thing, buzz the front off, then we can flick it upside down and show you how to swap a crank without taking any rods and pistons out, because yeah, sort of running out of time. But I'll get this thing apart and we'll keep moving forward. Righto, crank is out of this thing. Bores and all that look perfect as I expected. Rod bearings are okay, but obviously the ones closer to the problem were worse. See how they're all shiny? That is from this thing when it got put in, had a oil cooler. The oil cooler was moved to the rear. And that's why I love dry sump engines, because you can have them fully primed before you ever start them. When it started, it took a good 10 or 15 seconds before it built oil pressure. Now when it left here, I had it full of pressurized oil. See how I fill them up with oil every time they leave is with I've got a pressure bleeder. But that 15 seconds of no oil pressure, that's what that does. That's why it's super important for your first start. You need to have things primed. Don't just, you can't just wind them over. And if you are winding them over trying to build oil pressure, your bearings are still rubbing on everything anyway. So once it squirts all that out, that's what happens. Then over here, number 1, there's a bit of shit going through that, and then obviously heaps of shit going through the rest from that thrust just tearing itself to pieces. And then what happens is it gets through the bypass in the oil filter as well. So a lot of it gets caught in the filter, but enough makes it back. And the way the oil goes through the block, comes from the pump, blows to the back, out this hole, filter cooler, whatever, back in this hole. So all this shit cops it first, then number 1 ends up the cleanest. So it's got progressively better. It's cleaned itself out because it's ended up in everything else. So we're bang set of bearings in this thing, and another crank. So I'll crank there. Then we've got all dash 12 plumbing, a new filter housing, better quality one that flows better, all that sort of stuff. So there won't be any oil pressure issues. Not only, and it will be primed, fully primed, which I'll video how we do that before it starts. So then next time this engine comes apart, whenever that is, for a freshen up, the bearings will look like new. Actually, I can show you. Here we go. This is done a fair bit of work at 9,000 revs. You can see, bloody shit on me. Slightest little mark there, that's from crank flex. That's what happens when you rev cranks way more than you should. They get a big harmonic and a wobble, start looking like a skipping rope. But that is how a bearing should look. And that's the difference between, one of the differences between wet sump and dry sump, and also the difference between a dry start, like this engine's done hardly anything, and it's had oil pressure all the rest of the time. But that one dry start can literally, I don't know, it's real depressing knowing that an engine can cop that, like when it's been built. That's what they should look like. First, well, this one isn't too bad. It's just the shrapnel's gone through, but like the rod caps, they've just got shrapnel marks. The actual rods themselves have got, hey, we're pushing into the crank dry marks.
Alright, so I accidentally left my camera here, but it was kind of good that I left my camera here because Mitch apparently grabbed the camera and filled you guys in.
Yeah,
yes.
I hadn't eaten. I've had some food now, so you'll see.
Were you a bit delirious? Or?
I was a bit doughy. Built some energy back up. I was at a 3, now I'm at a 7.
Alright, so we're going back together with new
bearings.
New bearings.
I've showed them
all the new bearings.
All the new bearings. I've showed them how the old bearings looked versus how an old bearing out of a good engine should look.
Yeah.
So they'll know that, and about how dry starts can do that and all that. But
yeah.
It's going to be fairly.
So you guys are all V8 experts now.
Yeah.
And learn from our mistakes.
Well, yeah. There was no mistakes in the building process. There was.
Yeah.
Mistakes afterwards.
There was still mistakes.
There was mistakes were made.
Mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes. But these things happen. It's part of cars. Everyone knows this. We've been having our own joyous time. I finally drove the JZX 100 on the road for the first time.
And it broke immediately. We've had really good luck this week.
Yeah, no, this is my year. Like last year and this year. The 12-month period. So the JZX, who knows how long it's been sat around for. It just got in the country. It was running fine. Literally running fine. And I put fuel in it. And then it wasn't fine. So I'm hoping we've just washed some crap off the bottom of the tank and filled up the fuel filter or something. So I've got a new fuel filter for it. I've got plugs for it. You know, it hasn't had an oil change since it's been in the country either. So I'm gonna obviously put fresh oil in it, oil filter. So my guess is with my current luck, we'll do all of that and then the gearbox will fall out. Or it'll catch on fire, or
I was waiting to see where that went.
You know, the steering rack will fall out. Huh?
And if it doesn't, you're not going to park under any trees for a while.
Yeah, no. I don't know. It's either that or go to the casino and put it all in red. Maybe that's where my luck is. My luck just isn't in cars.
I'd go black.
You go black? Yeah, once you go... No, I'm not going there.
You might go red again, put it that way.
Yeah. So we are here to assist in fitting the new...
That's the old one.
Oh no, that's a bad one. Let's not put that one back in.
No.
We have another one.
Yeah.
So we have another crank. This one will obviously get machined up, fixed. Maybe.
Sad.
Oh.
Your reluctor will?
Love the optimism.
So
The same.
this one may be dead. We have another crank, good crank. The bob weight, I think we either explained that in this video or the previous video about what bob weight means. It's basically the weight of the rods. And did you explain some of that? Probably,
Yeah,
maybe?
we sort of half explain it. It's the weight of the rotating and reciprocating mass versus the counterweight weight.
It's wheel balance for your cranks and rods and pistons. Yeah. So it's all balanced.
5 grams.
It's all balanced. So we can rev it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Mitch literally had another crank here to suit that setup, or the setup that we've put in.
Which was
this.
very lucky.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
And he just did it obviously by flipping it upside down. That's why we're all here, because there's many hands here to as many rods, because we have to line it up and
Bit of an octopus going on.
do a hard thing. So we're gonna get all this back together. Nick, the Blade Legend, he's gonna be back tonight after hours, and he's gonna pop the motor back in, and then tomorrow morning-ish, I guess. Mitch?
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, if all goes well.
Yeah, or maybe Arvo.
Maybe Arvo.
Once everyone's knocked off out of there.
Yeah.
As far as tuning stuff goes, it was ready for power runs. It was like...
Yeah,
close.
we'll just need a little bit of running in again now, obviously, or
Not really.
not really?
No, it's
Oh,
not
because it's
top end.
pistons and things you need to run in, not
good
really
extra
bottom
to
end.
do good oil and just limit up first time it starts. As far as
Limit the first time it starts.
and we'll show them, we'll prime it up with the the fire extinguisher.
Oh, I want to see that too.
Yeah.
So it'll be, so once if you prime the thing with oil pressure properly and everything first go, you can just start it, it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Like if they can't do it when they're new, they're not gonna do it when they're worn out, are they?
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So that's the highs and lows and fun of car building. The event we're going to actually started today. You could drop your car off today and do accreditation. The first day of the actual event's tomorrow. And then Saturday is the main, Saturday's really the main day. And Sunday, there's plenty happening as well. But really, the main day's Saturday. So if we make Saturday, that'll be super rad. If we don't, at least we're gonna make it there in one capacity or another. Well, we still got things we need to do to the car after the tuning. So come down and bolt some stuff in and whatnot. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Because at least, if you go to the dyno early, you're probably still going to be there late, because that's how it seems to work. But if you build more car first, you're still going to be at the dyno late, except it'll be finished at the end.
So should we do things here or at the dyno?
Either other. Maybe here. Might be easier.
Yeah.
At the dyno. I don't know.
All right, we might do that then. We'll come down Friday morning, put the belts in, bolt the seats in, bolt the dash in, and do any other little bits and pieces we need to do before heading off to the dyno. That does make a lot of sense, actually. Makes way more sense. And then obviously I'm gonna
done after the dyno.
Yeah, then ideally if we can come off the dyno and just have it on the trailer and go to the track.
Yep.
Yep.
That's perfect.
And then yeah, the alignment. I still need to get an alignment.
Just give it one by eye.
No, it needs a whole setup though. It's
Set up by eye.
huh?
Look, it's got toe in. It definitely needs a metre less toe in and it's good to go.
A metre less toe in.
Blind Freddy
I might just see if I can. I'll see if I can book her in for an early morning, Saturday morning alignment before we head to the track, just to make everything point the right way.
How are you feeling?
Huh?
How are you feeling?
Sweaty?
Oh, crank's in. Crank's in.
Well,
Crank is in.
We've been cranking along. I'm a dad, I'm allowed to. Yeah, crank's in. Now it's the home stretch, right, Mitch?
Yeah.
Home stretch?
It's been the home stretch since Monday.
Just a long stretch?
I just don't know where I live anymore.
It's a long stretch, huh?
Well, if I lived here, I'd probably get to sleep.
There's
so
a few of us nearly missing wives, you know. His girlfriend's very mad.
Yeah, she's okay.
My wife's pretty mad. Nick's wife's mad. Everyone's wife's mad.
But the crank's in.
Crank's in.
Crank's in, which is mad.
That is mad.
That's
Though
mad.
the engine's mad.
Engine's... no, I think it's getting happy.
Clutch was
Definitely
mad.
getting happy now.
Clutch was mad.
Clutch was mad.
Clutch was mad.
Mad.
Yeah. Clutch made squishage.
Squissies.
I just can't believe I spent all that time putting the dipstick tube in that perfect spot, and now you got to do it all.
Now we
over
gotta do it all over again.
I know. At least we know
Unbelievable.
what
There is no reason why that should have screwed in so easy,
I
and
know.
you'll never get a second chance at
Never
that.
again.
We will be doing that for 45 minutes.
Alright, so we're down to the track now, obviously. My buddy Max, never driven right-hand drive, and he's down there in my 370Z now, so see how he goes.
You know, buddy, you also were pressing the brake.
Get off the dang brake.
Okay, yeah.
Alright, Luke's gonna show Max how it's done. Get him, Luke.
I haven't driven this in months.
It drives good now.
Alright guys, another successful night done at the track. The S13 stuff, all that. We don't know what's going on yet. We'll find out tomorrow. Tune in and I'll see you there guys. Jump on lukefink.com, support the channel. support the financial problem I got myself into. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. If you can't laugh at your own problems, what are you gonna laugh at? Peace out, guys. See you next one.